Today's Thursday, July 23rd, and this is the daily check-in, number 4, I believe. I'm back in my little box. And yesterday we talked about momentum, and I do think momentum is one of the most powerful concepts to understand. And I want to reiterate on a slightly adjacent point, which is this idea of grinding hard and working hard and pushing. And my learning from the last 6, 7 years of trying to build a business, trying to work hard, become productive, make more out of myself, develop skills, become more competent. Also, adjacent goals in terms of fitness, in terms of fighting, in terms of like more spiritual goals like meditation and so on. There are many different things I've been trying to improve at. And the main learning I've had is that pushing for me doesn't really work. And that now I'm in the phase where I'm the most effective, the most productive. I work the hardest that I've ever worked, and it is the most effortless. I've never been more productive, and it has never been easier than now. And I think the main reason for that is that I'm now away from pushing and I'm more toward pulling, or rather being pulled. So what I think, maybe some people will say that it is necessary that if you are far behind, that you need to push to catch up, basically. But I used to believe that for a long time. I used to believe that I'm far behind and that I need to do more. And when I felt like I wasn't productive enough, I would really put pressure on myself to do more and push more and grind harder, and I would have so much tension. And this never really worked for me. I never really used that to become very productive, and I never got to this phase of sustained effort. I typically had short periods and then I would fall back, and short periods and then fall back. And what has changed now is that for the first time ever, I do have momentum, I do have things that are working. And I think this is the thing that turns the people that you see who talk about working hard and who talk about 10-hour days, 12-hour days, 14, 15-hour days, those people, I believe, only have gotten to this point where they can do so much because they are being pulled by all the opportunities, by all the responsibility, by all the things they want to do. And I think this is very different to when they started and when you started and when I started. I think when you start, the most important thing is to just start building some momentum. And I don't think anyone can go from 0 to working 12, 13, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't think that is realistic. And I think a lot of people try to do that. They see the motivational Instagram reels where you have a car and music and it inspires you that you want to work hard and make a lot of money, and you start thinking that you need to immediately go from 0 to 100 and immediately need to go to work 12 hours a day. But if nothing is working, if you're not yet seeing results, then it is very, very hard to get yourself to do that much. And what I want to share here is this insight that once you get to the point where things are starting to move, you are starting to become more competent, you are starting to see that the things you are working on are bearing some fruits. And you have been working on something and you start seeing, okay, this is actually starting to work out. I'm starting to see that this is going in the right direction. It's not this initial phase of you try and you try and you try and nothing works and you fail and it seems like maybe it will never work. This is, I think, the most difficult part in the beginning. And I would say in this phase, putting too much pressure on yourself will only make you stop. But what you can do instead is you can just focus on building steady momentum and just try to get better, try to improve. And then once you start seeing results, you will be pulled toward doing more. Once you start getting to a certain level of competence in whatever you're pursuing, it doesn't have to be business, it can be working in a company where you want to really level up and become very good and really upgrade your skill set. It can be even a hobby, music, art, whatever. It can be anything. It can be sports, it can be fitness, it can be fighting, it can be powerlifting, whatever it is. I think once you get to the point where you start to see that what you're doing is working, you start to get little positive feedback loops for doing the thing itself, you will be pulled forward. And I think especially in the context of business, this is what I'm observing now, or have started to observe in the last few months, is that now I'm at a point where there are real opportunities that I can start to leverage. Before that, it was always trying and nothing is really working, and it's a real grind, and it feels like I'm basically just trying to get some foot in the door in terms of making something work. Now I'm at a point where I see the first opportunities come up where I basically now have a little bit more opportunities than I can leverage. So I'm starting to get to the point where I have to say no to certain opportunities. And I think once this has started to happen recently, it has shifted my mindset a bit, because now I want to do more. I'm being pulled to doing more, not because I'm forcing myself, not because I'm trying to live up to some sort of ideal that I saw online, or not because I think that I'm a piece of shit if I'm not working harder, but rather I see this thing and it's a really cool idea, it's a really cool opportunity, maybe some people that I really want to work with, and there's this other opportunity, and then there's the main thing I'm doing, and I want to do more of those things. I want to start leveraging those opportunities, and so I start doing more because I'm basically being pulled to do that. And I think it is something that most people probably have experienced when there's a lot of shit going on. Maybe you've had those days where there was a lot of stuff happening. Maybe you were moving houses and there was this thing and there was like a lot of things at the same time. And you ended up doing a lot of things, and you ended up having a single day or a few days where you got so many things done and so many things started moving forward, and you started to realize like, wow, it is possible to do a lot. Like, this is really interesting how many things we can do. But I think this only happens once we are in that position where you can leverage opportunities. And I think it's important that you have this faith in yourself that you will figure it out, and not let all the content online make you believe that if you don't win tomorrow, then you're a failure. And if you don't start a business and 1 year later you're a millionaire, you're a failure. Like, this is such bullshit. And the thing is, if you trust in yourself, and if you know that the point of the game is to keep playing, the point of building a business is not to, I mean, maybe for you, but I think for most people, the goal isn't to run a business for 3 years and try to make a million and try to get rich and then stop. I think for most people, that's not the plan. I would say, and I can only speak for myself, for me, I want to build stuff because I find it interesting to build stuff. It's fun, it's an interesting game, and there are many opportunities of things that I want to do, and I am inspired by it. There's a lot of creativity in business, in doing projects, in working with people. Instead of obsessing about making it, whatever that means, I would suggest just focusing on building momentum. Just focus on moving forward and doing a bit more than you've been able to do in the past. If you've never really been very productive and you've had very unproductive weeks or months behind you, and maybe right now you're kind of in a rut, just start doing a little bit. Just do half an hour a day and start working on something, start learning something, and have the faith in yourself that you will get to a point where you will be able to do more. If you can do only 30 minutes today, and I was at that point, I was, like, when I got started in 2021, I was barely able to do anything. I was barely able to do half an hour of focused effort on anything. And now I'm at a point where I have days where I literally work, like I train in the morning, not rush, but I swiftly go here and I work basically the whole day. I have some little breaks in between, and it's not that I'm like rushing, but I am moving with a certain sense of urgency because I want to do a lot of things, and there are a lot of interesting things to do. So I end up basically working the whole day at the moment. And it has never been easier. And I came from the place where 30 minutes took all my effort. So I think this is my message. I want you to to have more faith in yourself and believe that you can get there. And it might take a few years. Like for me, essentially, it was just in terms of business, it was like 5 years to get to this point now. And I'm nowhere near where I want to go. Like I'm still early on in terms of what I want to do, but I have seen now a very, very big jump, and you will get there too. Anyways, I hope this made sense. And my main point is just to believe that you will get to the point where you're pulled forward. You're pulled forward and you will unlock this ability to work as hard as you can imagine. And I think trying to get there early will not be possible for most people. Sure, maybe some people can really go from 0 to 100 and can use raw power and willpower and discipline to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not the case for me, not at all. If I was just trying to do that, I would probably do like 2 hours of work a day and feel miserable, and it would be a shit show. So maybe consider not easing off the gas. I don't want to suggest to anyone to basically reduce how serious they take their goals. But I think you just need to have a little bit of patience. I think if you're impatient with how hard you can work, it will take you way longer to get to the point where you can work as hard as you want to. So I hope this was useful.